Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, guys. Hold on to your hats because what we're about to discuss could be a game changer not just for the Commanders, but for the entire NFC East. Rumor has it that there's serious talk about a blockbuster trade involving Chris Olave, the young wide receiver from the New Orleans Saints. And honestly, it's the kind of move that could shake up the division and set the stage for Washington to elevate their offense to a whole new level. It's not just idle chatter. Insiders like Deanna Rossini are suggesting that the Saints, currently struggling at 5'9" with an eye on their cap space and rebuild plans, might be willing to part ways with Olave in exchange for a first-round pick. That would be a huge move for a team trying to reset, especially with $8 million in cap space freed up to fuel their rebuild. But for Washington, this could be exactly what they need to push forward, especially considering their current 4-10 slump and the need for speed and explosiveness on offense. Chris Olave, at just 25 years old, has been dazzling in his brief NFL career. He's already amassed over 4,000 receiving yards and 25 touchdowns, and his 2025 season has been nothing short of spectacular. With 245 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 85 catches, Olave is proving he can be a true game changer, reminiscent of Julio Jones in Atlanta back in 2015. An absolute deep threat who can cut through defenses like a lightning bolt. His average of 14.6 yards per reception, coupled with a PFF grade of 86.9 and an EPA per target of plus 0.32, show how efficient and explosive he is. On top of that, he's racking up YAC, yards after catch, totaling around 612 yards, showing his ability to turn short plays into big gains. His deep target rate, sitting around 42%, indicates teams are not only wary of him but are forced to respect his ability to stretch the field. Looking deeper into his career, Olave's potential is sky-high. His stats are impressive, and he's proven to be a reliable target, especially after the setbacks he faced in 2025 with a concussion that caused him to miss 2 games. Still, he maintains an average of nearly 90 yards per game and his separation rate of 3.2 yards, according to Next Gen Stats, shows how well he creates space, something the Commanders desperately need. And if you compare him to other top receivers in the league, his yards per route run of 2.4 surpasses Jahan Dotson's 1.7, which indicates that Olave could immediately boost Washington's passing attack, potentially adding around 100 yards on the season and reducing drops by about 10%, thanks to his reliable hands and route running. Now picture this. With Olave lining up alongside Terry McLaurin, who already commands respect with a 1.9 yards per route run, the Commanders' passing yards could jump from around 192 yards per game to over 260. That's a massive leap, and it's not just about the numbers, it's about the threat Olave adds to the offense. His ability to make explosive plays. His percentage of explosive plays versus the current core is significant. Would open up the field for Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and even the tight ends, making the entire passing game more dynamic and unpredictable. With Daniels potentially being shut down or facing tougher coverage, this move could also set up the Commanders to target a new quarterback with more reliable weapons, especially considering the team's recent injuries on the offensive line, like the ongoing concerns with Tunsil. And let's not forget, this isn't just about the offense. The defensive side of Washington would benefit hugely from an improved ball control offense that keeps opponents' offenses off the field. The Commanders currently allow around 112 rushing yards per game, but with a more explosive passing attack, opponents might be forced into more passing situations, which could play into Washington's hands, especially with their secondary looking to make more plays. The potential for the Commanders to become serious contenders is there, especially if they can capitalize on this opportunity. The latest Super Bowl odds for Washington have already seen a significant shift, moving from plus 15.0 to plus 4,500, which signals that the betting markets see a real shot at a deep playoff run if this move happens. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Saints, currently ranked 22nd in offense with about 21 points per game, are desperately trying to rebuild. Losing their alpha receiver would be a tough pill to swallow, especially since their passing yards have dropped by 25%. The team is in need of picks to shore up their offensive line, which has a PFF run-block grade of just 58.7, a clear weakness. For the Saints, trading Olave makes sense if they're looking to stockpile draft capital and focus on a rebuild. But for Washington, it's an opportunity to accelerate their offensive development. Adding a player like Olave could be the catalyst that transforms their attack into one of the most explosive in the league, comparable to the Diggs trade that helped boost the Bills' offense by over 300 yards receiving in 2020. This potential trade also fits perfectly into the Commanders' current strategy of building around young talent and maximizing their offensive weapons. With McLaurin, Dotson, and Olave, Washington could boast one of the most dynamic receiving corps in the league, capable of stretching defenses and creating mismatches all over the field. And with the NFC East becoming increasingly competitive, especially with the Eagles' secondary showing signs of vulnerability, Washington's offense could become a nightmare for opposing defenses. If they manage to add Olave, their Super Bowl odds could skyrocket, and the team's playoff prospects would look much brighter. The NFC is wide open, and the Commanders are positioning themselves to be a serious contender, especially if they make bold moves like this one. Now, wrapping this all up, it's clear that Olave could be the missing piece in Washington's puzzle. A young, explosive receiver who can immediately impact their offense and push them closer to that elusive Super Bowl. The Saints, on the other hand, are likely to look at this as a way to clear cap space and rebuild from the ground up. Whether or not this trade happens remains to be seen, but the buzz is real, and the implications are huge. For Washington fans, this is the kind of move that makes you dream big again, that gets you excited about the future. Imagine a passing game anchored by McLaurin and Olave, with Dotson developing into a true 3, and a defense that's already looking solid, especially with the potential for more explosive plays. It's a recipe for success, and the NFC East might just see a new powerhouse emerge in the coming weeks. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news.